Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time seeing my face or any of my videos, I would really appreciate it if you liked, commented, and subscribed because that helps me out so much. Today's video is going to be yet another tag video. I know I have done a lot of these so far, but they are really fun and really easy to do. But today I'm going to be doing the BookTube Newbie tag, and this is a tag that has been done pretty much by every booktuber who starts off on their channel, and I am by no means a really popular booktuber at all, but I figured I might as well just do this so you guys can get a better idea of what some of my expectations are for this channel. I will be linking the original video down below in the description if I can find it, and let's just get started. So this tag is made up of about 11 questions, so I'm going to kind of go through and answer them as quickly and as thoroughly as I possibly can with my trusty little notebook. So the first question is, why did you start this channel? And to be quite honest, I do not have many friends in my real life that read quite as frequently as I do and quite as widely as I do. I only really know one person, and she's a childhood friend, but we don't really read like the same genres, and I never really see her or talk to her, so I am kind of alone in my book thoughts and my love of books. So I figured maybe starting a channel would kind of connect me to other people who liked to read, even if it's just only family that's subscribing to my channel. It just means a lot that they are willing to support me, and there are other people out there that are watching and liking what I'm doing. It means a lot, and I do put work into these videos, so I just kind of wanted people to get to know more of my reading taste and reach out to people who may have some similarities to me. Question 2 is, what are some fun and unique things you think you could bring to your channel? And to be honest, again, I always dread these kinds of questions. These are the kind of questions that you get in school where it's like, tell me one fun fact about you. And I can never think of a fun fact because I'm not that interesting of a person. All I really do is go to school, work, and come home. So I don't have like the most interesting life, but I do have the best life for myself. So hold on, I don't like the way that sounded. The second question is, what are some fun and interesting things you think you could bring to BookTube? And again, this is one of those questions that I feel like everybody has had to answer at one point in their life. It's kind of like a variation of, give me a fun fact about you. Name one thing that is super interesting about you. I know all of us have gotten that some point in our lives, especially in high school and college, because when I was starting college, all of it was just icebreakers, and I hated them. So this question, I'm not really sure I could answer. I think the only thing I could really say is that I am just super excited. I think I am going to be able to bring just a unique kind of view of how I see books, and I don't really know anybody that reads the way I do, that have the habits like I do. So I'm really interested in kind of bringing that to my channel and just bringing something more raw and true, because I don't have a fancy camera. I don't have fancy editing equipment. I literally just have my iPhone and my room, as well as iMovie. So I do the best I can with what I have, and I think just continuing to just put forth true sincerity, grit, and just love into these videos is the only thing I can do, and it's the main thing I think I could bring to my channel. Question 3 is, what is the most exciting thing about starting this channel? And I really do feel that connecting to other people is what I'm most excited for. If I could make just one new friend who enjoys to read like I do out of these, it would mean the world to me. I just love to kind of be friends with people who have like the same interests as I do. I think everybody does, but being able to talk to somebody that doesn't even know who you are and can still bond over just simple things like books and your love of collecting, stuff like that, is just so important. And I think, especially in the time that we're living in now with Corona, I think connecting online is just the new norm. It's something that's going to happen. Trust me, my grandfather talks to me all the time about how school is going to go online and that's going to be the new future. So I truly believe that making friends online is just so important nowadays because of the climate that we're living in. But hopefully we'll be back to having to do things in person. But until then, I think that connecting with people online is the biggest thing and the most exciting thing for this channel. Question number 4 is possibly my favorite question, and that is, why do you read? And question 4 is probably the most important question and my favorite question, and that is, why do you love to read? And I love reading because it makes me feel like I'm not weird. It makes me feel like I'm normal. I feel the most myself when I'm just head deep into a book and I'm just distracted by my reality. I feel like a lot of the times we do things to kind of escape, situations or problems that we face, and reading has definitely kind of been that outlet for me. Whenever I'm upset, I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I just turn to a book because it's the safest way to kind of let out my frustration. It's the way that I know best, is just escaping into another reality. And while, it's not always good to do that because it does become kind of a coping mechanism and sometimes it can't be healthy, I think that although escaping into a book sometimes isn't the most healthy thing to do, I just really grew my love of reading from my parents, and specifically my mom. My mom loved to read, and she kind of passed that along to me. And I loved reading when I was younger, but when I was in 5th grade, I had a lot of reading comprehension issues. So I like to think of it as I loved reading, but reading didn't love me. As weird and corny as that sounds, it was true. I had a lot of reading comprehension issues, and I could not remember or recite a single thing that I ever read when I was younger. But as I got older, I appreciated it so much more, and I realized just how much joy books bring me. Books bring me just the most joy. I am the happiest when I'm just surrounded by books, and I hope that it's something that other people can kind of relate to, because it's me. Books are just me. When you think of me, you think of Jania, you think of books. That's what most people think about when they know me. All my friends who know me, when they think of me, they think of books. And when they think of books, they think of me. So I kind of just like to have that, I kind of just like to have that association. So I hope that other people can kind of be inspired by my love of reading, and they can start reading themselves if they don't already. What book, question number 5 is, what book or series got you into reading? And there are so many answers to this question. I would definitely have to say that Katie Kazoo Switcheroo definitely kind of built up my absolute love for reading. I love this series so much. I have given my books, the ones I used to own, when I owned these books, I gave these books to my cousins, I gave these books to my friends. I absolutely love this series. It was about a young girl who could switch into other people's bodies, and sometimes animals' bodies. Like, she could literally switch into anything at any given moment, and it just causes the most chaos. It is so fun. I highly recommend it for people who are in 3rd grade and up. It is such a lovely book series. It has so many books, and it really built my love of reading. I remember the first time I went and I got one of these books. I was in 2nd grade, and we had a Reading is Fundamental kind of sponsorship from Scholastic. They would come and they would lay all these books on the table, and each grade would come down and pick from an assorted array of books. And I remember taking a look at this book in particular. I think it was all about voting, and I was just so drawn to it, and I picked it up. My teacher put my little name in it, and that was my first book. That was my first Katie Kazoo book, and I loved it so much, and it brought me so much joy, and that was really the series that got me into reading. I know a lot of people will say Harry Potter, some will say The Mortal Instruments, The Hunger Games, Lord of the Rings, but for me it was this. This is what got me into reading right here. Number 6 is, what would you ask your favorite booktubers? Now, I have so many favorite booktubers. I absolutely love Hannah at A Clockwork Reader. She is my favorite booktuber of all time. Like, hands down, if anybody was to ever ask me who's my favorite, it's her. She's phenomenal. Her reading taste is immaculate. She is just she's so aesthetically pleasing as a person, and she's so relatable, and she's so raw and real, and that's what I really, really love. I love Emma books. She's also fantastic. She's wonderful. I also really love Lexi. She is just so sweet, and I think she has really cool middle grade recommendations, and I would definitely have to look at her channel more to get more information about those. But for them, I would really ask them what keeps them motivated to continue to do booktube in their early years when they were first starting out. I kind of would like to ask them what kept them motivated, because sometimes I look at my channel and I see, you know, the views, and I see the amount of subscribers, and then I think, oh well, you know, I'm not really doing that good. What's the whole point of doing all of this? But I realized that it makes me really happy, and I like doing it, and it's nice to have like a new hobby. So I would really want to ask them what kept them motivated in the early years. What made them keep going even when they saw that they had barely any views and barely any subscribers? What was the motivation? What was the purpose? I think that's what I would ask them the most. Question number 7 is, what challenges do you think that starting a booktube channel would be the hardest to overcome? So I think for me, it's more going to be a like filming thing. I think it's more gonna have to be with the quality, because I don't own like a filming camera, like a DSLR or anything like that, because those are like really expensive. I kind of just have my iPhone propped up and I record like that, and I edit on iMovie because it's free and it's easy to use. So I think those are gonna be like the biggest issues with like the quality of my videos, because I'm also a college student. I can't afford to really save up money for a $400, $500, $600 camera when, you know, I have student tuition and stuff to pay. I'm also, my dad is helping me out with my car insurance, my mom is helping me out with my phone bill, so I have like other expenses that I do have to pay for, and I don't feel that putting all my money towards like a camera at this stage is really going to help anything. Maybe down the road that would be a possibility, but right now I think that will be the hardest, and probably lighting, because I don't have like a ring light or artificial light, but I'll probably look into getting one of those eventually, again, just down the road. Question number 8 is, when did you start reading? And the earliest memory I have of like really reading was probably 2nd grade. Again, that was when I got my first Katie Kazoo book, so that was when I vividly remembered like reading. And then it wasn't until 6th and 7th grade that I started reading continuously and consistently. I remember in middle school we had to fill out reading logs, and you had to read at least 25 books throughout the year. Everybody had to do it, and I was that person that surpassed it, and I would read just everything in the library. I would have 100 books. I would ask for like 2-3 copies of those reading logs and just fill them out, because I was just reading so quickly and so consistently. But 2nd grade was really when I remembered starting reading. 2nd grade was when I really remembered when I started to read for the first time. Question number 9 is, where do you read? And I read right here on my bed. This is my bed. I read right here most of the time. Sometimes I'll read in the sunroom or in the living room, but most of the time it's right here. Question number 10 is, Question number 10 is, what are your favorite books to read? And my preferred genre is YA contemporary, specifically YA contemporary romance. That's my favorite genre, but I really, really love magical realism. I love historical fiction. I love adult fiction. I love adult historical fiction. I've been getting into new adult as well. I really love new adult. I love poetry. I also really, really enjoy like mysteries and stuff like that. There's some classics that I also really like to read, and I've been dabbling in some fantasy, so I'm kind of learning how to branch out through all genres, but I will not read dystopian and I will not read sci-fi. Those are kind of the two that I like steer away from, but everything else I try to dabble in. The final question is number 11, and the final question is, what does your book collection look like? So I'm quickly going to go and show you guys what it looks like. Hopefully you guys can see, but over here, this is my bookshelf. Over here, as you can see, I just have some plushies and some knickknacks on it. I have 5 shelves on this bookshelf, and they're kind of filled mostly with contemporary historical fiction. I have some Nicholas Sparks, and I also have some poetry. And then if we turn to the other side of my room over here, I have another smaller bookshelf that I just got for Christmas, and this has my textbooks over there. I have some fantasy, some magical realism, some graphic novels, and I have my mug of bookmarks over there. So we're kind of just having a hodgepodge right now, but hopefully you could see all that. I'll have to go back and check, or just make a different clip. Okay. But those are all the questions that I had to answer today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw and you want to see more of my content, please like, comment, subscribe, and share the news with your friends if you think anybody would be interested in watching my videos. Thank you so much again for watching. Have a great day or night wherever you are, and I will see you guys hopefully next week. Mwah. Bye-bye.